autumn leaves behind you.
Yes.
And trees. It's beautiful. Getting into the feeling for fall.
We got to start all over again.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, it's set in Noble Park, and it moves forward 10 years from 1966 to 1976. And in 1966, Dave disappears and he comes back 10 years later. So that's where what the story is about when he comes back. Because he sent Mark a letter saying that there was something that he wanted to ask him, and Mark's all excited, thinking, oh, he wants to, be my partner and everything, and he's got all these ideas in his head and he fantasises, because there's no Zoom meetings, there's only telegraphs in those days and phone calls, but he didn't know where he went to, and so he's at a loss until finally Dave's coming home and they're having a party for him at his parents' house. So, yeah, he's wondering what he's going to look like, and, whether he's wearing glasses, if his hands are rough, has he been working on the land and stuff like that. So, and then it progresses from there.
No, Dave moved. How far away did he move?
He moved to Ballarat, which is in the countryside.
Oh, okay. So he moved.
Yeah, so he moved over 20 kilometres from Noble Park. It would have been about a 2-hour drive away. Okay. Yeah.
And did everybody think he went to live with his aunt or somebody like that?
Yes. Yeah.
And that makes normal sense that someone would do that, or is that kind of the plot thickens with that move?
Yeah, well, someone saw him get on a train with his dad, and Mark saw him a couple of days before or a day before, and in the milk bar. Mark is already there and Dave is coming back, and he sees Dave in the milk bar just before. And so what happens is Dave says that he's going to the countryside to visit his aunt. So, and Mark thinks, oh, wow, I'd love to go away for holidays because it's school holidays. And so Dave is going away, he says. So when they tell him that Dave left, he thinks, well, Dave told me, he was going away. But the way that they tell him in the schoolyard, he doesn't know what to believe then. So, so his mind just goes berserk with all these things. Is he sick, and, what's happening, and that. So, yeah.
Did you always think your book was going to be LGBTQ, or is that something that came later? Okay.
I've got 3 relatives that are gay. And I know what one of them in particular went through in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, and he's still going through now, even though gay marriage is legalised here. It's only been legalised for the last 5 years, I think it is, but 4 or 5. And so to have a relationship, the only thing that they could do was go to the park or go after dark to someone's house and leave early so that no one saw them, So it was really, really hard for them to express their feelings and to want to be with someone. I guess it's like a coloured person wanting to be with a white person years and years ago, decades ago, and it wasn't allowed, and it was, terrible in some countries then. Same sort of thing with gay people, and like with religion too, there's a lot of hoo-ha about people, Catholic with a Jewish person, etc., and that, because all the religions, like, people think that their religion is more hierarchical than the other person's religion, and you should follow my religion. It's the same with, I guess, black versus white, and it's not a versus, it's just the way it is. Like, I could have fallen in love with a man from, the Cayman Islands or somewhere, or a South African, and my parents, you know, I don't know what they would have thought of that, but some people are very strict like that. You have to marry into your own culture because it causes cultural differences. Well, it's the same with gays, like females marrying females and males marrying males. Like, you know, you need a male and a female to procreate, but now there's surrogacy and things like that. So it's all changed. Everything's happening and evolving, like for women as well. And, you know, whereas before women were like in a way seen and not heard, now they have a voice. So, yeah.
A lot of things are changing. Slowly but surely, right?
Yes. Yeah, but in some countries they still aren't though. You know, women still haven't got a voice, and people don't accept gay marriages, and you know, and because of what my relatives went through, I thought it would be a good topic. And fiction crosses the path of non-fiction. So I've been writing in a diary since I was 12, so I sort of put some of my own self in there as well. Like when my mum died and my dad was dating women, I was going out with a boy who he was doing cooking lessons, and he'd bring home the things that he was cooking for me to sample. So I sort of made Mark the cooking person in the book, like sent him off to cooking lessons to be a chef, because that's what my boyfriend at the time wanted to do. So I use bits and pieces of my own life in the book, because they say write what you know. Right. So it's like, well, you know, I've got all these different things that have happened to me in my life, so I'll put it into the book and disassociate myself from it. Not all of it is true in the book. A lot of it is pure fiction and made up, but just like the boyfriend and with the cooking and stuff like that, you know, and how like my dad was cleaning out all his clothes and bought all new clothes to start going out. And so, you know, I utilise things like that as I wrote the book.
How long did it take you to write the book?
5 years.
Wow. Is that with editing?
Yes, with editing and everything, because I went to university, because someone said to me, if you want to learn how to write, you should go to university and do a degree in writing and editing or creative writing, if you're really serious. Because I'd written a manuscript which got rejected, and I'd done 10 drafts on it, and I'd been writing it for about 3 or 4 years. This is before I even started this book, and it just didn't work out for me. And it was a memoir, and they said, look, if you really want to, like I said, go to university. So that's what I did, and I finished a degree as a mature age student, and I decided to, you know, write a book, and I thought it'll take me 2 years, and then I'll just go back into legal and get another job, and that'll be it, and at least that's off my bucket list. So, but then I thought, well, no, I want to reinvent myself. I'll write some more. So I've written 3 picture books which I'm trying to get published, and I've written another novel which I'm trying to piece together now from different things that have happened. So,
what is a picture book?
Picture book is a children's picture book, you know, like, yeah, I've written 3 of those.
Are you drawing the pictures yourself?
No, I don't illustrate. So I thought, well, I'll try and get them published traditionally. So I've put them out everywhere. So I'm waiting. I've had 1 rejection, which I got when I last spoke to you last week. I got a rejection in the mail, but then I got I sent out a poem, because I do the 6-word story, as you know, on Twitter, and or a poem, and I sent a poem out, and so I got an acceptance for a poem from one line on Twitter. They are doing an anthology, and they accepted my poem, which was really lovely of them, so that was good. Nice. So the scales are balanced. I've had 1 rejection and 1 acceptance. So
that's good. Yeah. So do you send your poems out a lot?
I used to. I'm published in 21 anthologies with poems and short stories and flash fiction, and I used to just send stuff out, like, because I'm a Sagittarian, I'd throw my arrows out everywhere, like, and it'd be like, boom, this one, that one, and so on. So, you know, to try and see if I could get published and what people thought of my writing. So, yeah, but nowadays, not so much.
Okay, so you basically started off sending short stories and poetry out.
Yeah.
You got serious about writing children's books.
Yep.
And now you published a novel and you're working on another novel. Wow. So you're constantly writing.
Yes, and I work part-time as well. Yeah, so I work with my husband part-time as a PA in real estate, and plus I do the washing, iron, cooking, cleaning. So I play Cinderella as well.
So how long would you say you write a day?
How long do I write a day? I can sit down for 6 hours straight. And I can not move, and then I can feel like I'm crippled in my hips from sitting down for too long. So now what I do is I get up and I walk around with the dogs, or I'll take them down the street shopping with me, or I'll go out and do a little bit of gardening or whatever. So just to break it up, and then I'll go back and start writing again, or I'll go on Twitter. But Twitter's too much of a distraction, and so is Instagram, because I get stuck on there and then I think, oh my God, 2 hours have gone. What am I doing? I've got so much to do. Oh, quick, let's start writing again. Have a look, and then trying to think of something to write. And my husband says I put too much pressure on myself and I should just breathe and relax. But it's like, got to achieve this, got to achieve that, got to do this, got to do that. So anyway.
So did you always want to be a writer, or? I mean, you were writing your journals as a child. Were you thinking I wanted to do this, or
reader more so than a writer? And I used to love writing letters. Like, I think the art form of letter writing has gone by the wayside, and I'd write letters to relatives and to my grandparents in the countryside and just to see people's writing, it's beautiful compared to just looking at computer text. And you know, it's all the same, like you can change it to Comic Sans, to Arial, Narrow, etc., and Times New Roman and a whole lot of other ones, but it's the person's writing and the pen and, you know, the curve of the letters. And like I've got in the book as well, like Dave's writing was like commanding attention like he was, because I think writing is a beautiful thing, and it's a shame that it doesn't happen anymore because of computers and because of mobile phones, or cell phones as you call them. So I wrote a lot of letters as well as in a diary. And when I was at university, every day I would journal, every single day that I was at university, my thoughts, my feelings, and try and get into my senses as well, as a memory of all those years of going there and how I felt and anxiety as well, trying to fit in with 18-year-old students, and I'm like their mother, and you know, it's like, you're like my mother, she's got a blonde bob, I don't want to know you. So things like that, you know, like trying to fit in when you're older as well, and that's a good learning as well. So yeah, I love to write now, but when I was younger, no.
Do you think that being an author is a profession that you can live off of?
No. Do you know what? It's really interesting that you asked that question, because here's my book, right?
Yeah.
And see, it's got M.A.Quigley.
It's a beautiful cover.
Thank you. I really love it too. The publisher did a great job of it. But the thing is, M.A.Quigley, people said to me before I even started writing, like I said I was going to write a book, they said to me, oh, you just want to be like J.K. Rowling.
All right.